TC, Spiritual Shepherd. Welcome back, guys. So we're going to be getting into a few topics. This is going to be more fitness-based in this topic. And I'm also going to be speaking on the sacred secretion and something that I'm cultivating based on the sacred secretion, or known as the Christ oil. So ultimately, we have this oil that is germinated in our womb, okay, in the sacral plexus, which is your second chakra, which is right under your navel, right under your belly button. And in that cultivation, you have this every 28.5 days, both in men and women. Okay, and this is known as the sacred secretion, also known as the sacred secret or the sacral secret. Okay, which means that this is to revamp and energize the body. By the way, guys, I'm hitting about 120 days of Ojas retention, by the way. Ojas retention. So just so you guys know, and I'm in a relationship, so 120 days of Ojas retention, I feel significantly on a whole nother level. And I could see it in the experience, the shifting experience that I'm experiencing. I mean, everything's coming easily. Literally, I'm starting to run things. And this is not even a flex. This is I'm very happy that I cultivated this Ojas retention. I've defeated so many different types of things. And I've started to overstand things. I've started to live above. I've started to live above. Okay? So now it's easier for me to observe ego. It's easier for me to resist temptation, and not even that, but just observe it and go into it, stuff like that. So ultimately, the sacred secretion, fasting, and carnivore. So I'm going to kind of get into this, and I'm going to also get into training. Okay. So this is going to be about a 15-minute video, but let's first and foremost start. So right now I'm obviously counting macros, and I'm training, and I'm counting macros. I always generally hit about 170 to 250 grams of protein per day. Some days I hit more, some days I hit less. And so I know if I hit this, then I'm generally in a really good state. Okay. A lot of times I've been having a lot more carbs. And while I have a lot more carbs, I'm doing a lot more cardio. So by me doing a lot more cardio and eating a lot more carbs, that speeds up the metabolism quite a bit. And so this is generally what I'm doing. I obviously have supplementation for fat loss, which is through Heart and Soil. I also take carnitine, drink black coffee, sipping creatine, multitude of things. That's for muscle gain. So there's supplements that I use for muscle gain. There's supplements that I cultivate for fat loss, and then specific times and modalities that, based on the hormonal manipulation of the food, the hormonal circadian rhythm of the 24-hour cycle, I will hit specific times when I know that the hormones are this way, or when I know the hormones are this way, I will eat this way, or I'll eat this way. And so there's that type of cultivation. Okay, so now the sacred secretion. So I believe it's this Sunday coming up. So if you guys are watching this right when the video drops, this upcoming Sunday, which it is the 17th, it is April 17th. So let's say April 23rd? April 23rd, April 24th. I think it's the 23rd through the 25th. But ultimately, April 23rd through the 25th, my moon, the Libra moon, the moon is in the sun sign of Libra. Okay, so for 2.5 days, when the moon enters into the sun sign, this is when the sacred secretion, it goes down, it's germinated in that time, and then it rises back up to be Christed and crucified. Okay, and so ultimately, this is a huge thing in esoteric spirituality, which is Egyptian Christianity. Ultimately, it's Egyptian Christianity. This is exactly what I resonate with. This is exactly how I speak to people, and this is what Egyptian Christianity is. Okay. Now, as you start to realize this, Christ was crucified at the place of Golgotha, which is the skull. The skull. Okay. So ultimately, it's connected to the first eye. It's connected to the third eye. Okay. Then you can also see in Hebrew, Paleo Hebrew, that Yahweh is the same shape as the body. Okay. The body is the temple. The temple is where you praise God. Okay. So there's this cultivation that the sacred secretion, fasting, observing Shabbat, observing the sacred secretion. So these are the ways that I fast, okay? So I fast every Saturday, which I'm starting to cultivate this. So obviously I'm not perfect just yet, but fasting every Saturday, every Shabbat. Okay, so every Shabbat you fast for the 24 hours every week. So that's already 52 days a year that you're fasting, okay? Then there's the time when the moon enters your sun sign, and you are fasting during that period of time, which is about 3 to 4 days. So 3 days, let's just say, for easy math. That's about 88 to 89 days per year based on the three. So that would be 36 plus the 52. So that'd be about 88 days, 89 days that you'd be fasting per year. 88 divided by the 367 or whatever, 365. Okay, you can see that cultivation of, wow, I'm fasting all this. If you implement intermittent fasting with any of those other days, as well as eating multiple meals per day, there is a very powerful change in the fluid that you were emitting in the pituitary gland and the electrical system that you are emitting within the nervous system, the pineal gland. Okay, so I'm not going to overcomplicate this. I'm actually very much simplifying it for you. And so that means that your hormones are more potent and your electricity is more turned on. Your nervous system's more turned on. And with those together, you will actually start to secrete significantly better, meaning that you will have more of a fountain of youth aspect to your body. Okay, so when you observe Shabbat, which is Sabbath or Saturday or Saturn's Day or Saturnalia, okay, the Saturday of okay, remember, it starts on Sunday. So the 7th day is Shabbat. So what is the 7th day of the 12 months? It would be Christmas. So that is actually the time of Saturnalia, which is Saturn Day, or Saturday. You can see the cultivation of it, which is Satan, okay, which is lead, which is darkness, which is the darkest time of the year. So you can see the intercorrelation between this. Okay, so that is what the new moon of the year. It's the new moon. It's the dark moon of the year. So during that time, that is when you actually cultivate what? Shabbat, respect. What is summer? Summer is the time of flowering. Summer is the time of blossoming. So summer is the type of cultivation, this type of thing. Okay, it's the longest day of the year. It's the day of you have the longest day of the year. What is day? It represents light, represents love, represents the sun, it represents solar, represents soul, represents gold, represents. You guys get rare. You guys get the whole cultivation of this. Okay, so this is Egyptian Christianity. This is the esotericism of Egyptian Christianity. You can actually see this embodied in the way that we truly live. Okay, we could do ultraviolet therapy just like we could do red light, infrared sauna therapy. Okay, now the sacred secretion is observing these specific times. So you fast on Shabbat, which is Sabbath or 7th day, okay? But then not only that, then there's a time during the sacred secretion where every month, okay, every menstrual cycle, every 28 days, your moon enters your sun sign, or the moon enters your sun sign. And then during your moon at your sun sign is your birthday. When your moon enters your sun sign, that is your birthday, okay? So you can also cultivate this based on, similar to like Ramadan, if you actually think about it, but based on your astrological sun sign. So say, like I always say, like in October, I was born in October. So during Libra, so when Libra moon is in Libra sun, okay, and then during around my birthday, what I would do is I would actually start to prolong my fasting for my intermittent fasting. Based on the sun or based on specific timing frequencies, okay? Similar to that of like, you could say Ramadan. You can even do the month before and the month after if you comprehend what I'm saying, okay? And based on this cultivation, you are actually synchronizing yourself with that time period and with who you are as an astronomical and astrological being, or astrotheological being, meaning astrotheological, meaning God amongst the stars expressing themselves amongst the stars, because Elohim is a we. Elohim is we, okay? Okay, also known as Yahweh, or a multitude of different types of names. Now, I really want to kind of heed this knowledge. The sacred secret, the sacred secretion, the Christ consciousness, the Christ oil is ultimately when the moon is entering your sun sign. So during that time, I would also fast during the month, okay? So during that 3 days. Now, during this time, this is kind of what I'm talking about. Now that I've talked about the esoteric, I'm going to bring it super down to earth. So I'm kind of eating what I like. I'm counting my macros. I'm all this type of stuff. But then I'm going into this Sunday. Okay, so this Sunday is entering into my my sacred secretion. I'm going to observe Shabbat. So it'll be a 4-day fast. So that 4-day fast plus the Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Tuesday, I will break that fast. Okay, that fast I will actually start to go into extreme carnivore. And I'm just going to do it for a week or two. The whole reason I'm doing this is just to kind of lean out, to be honest, to stay lean. Obviously, that fast is going to help me. But it's really for like, I'm going to do it for like 14 days. And then I'm going to have my first carb up 14 days later. So let's say in like 7 days from now or 5 days from now. So about 21 days will be my next carb up. But then from there, I'll just start to eat like normal again. Okay. And then I'll just observe Shabbat. And then I'll observe the sacred secretion. It's a very easy way of living. Okay. I know I'm taking it to an extreme. I'm just telling you kind of, this is like a super chill, thing for me. But ultimately, this is something that I really want to cultivate. And then summer's coming. So then I'm just going to be like, I'll be physically dense, physically lean, and also very interconnected spiritually because I've observed Shabbat or Sabbath or Saturday, and I've also fasted during those times, and also, fasting with the sacred secretion and doing that for a multitude of things too as well. So this is also what I cultivate. Now, this is also going to preface the video. Okay, so TC Spiritual Shepherd, welcome back, guys. This is heavy duty training. Heavy duty training. Okay, heavy duty training is lifting heavy, lifting intensely, and then adding volume. A lot of people say, just add more volume, bro. If you want to grow, if you want to get better, if you want to be fitter, just add some volume. It's just add some volume. That means like, you can lift a 45-pound, just the barbell, just the barbell itself. Okay, you could just lift the bar. You wouldn't even add anything. But if you do 30 sets, you'll get better. And it's like until you plateau, and then you're not gonna succeed. You need to continuously progressive overload in intensity. Let me say that again. So for all the people in the back who don't hear me, you need to progressively overload in intensity. Progressively overload in intensity. This is the same way with macronutrients. This is the same thing with eating multiple meals per day. It's not just, just eat calories in, calories out, just calories in, calories out. Okay, no, because not every type of calorie is the same type of calorie. You're telling me that protein is the same as carbs? It's just not. You're saying because protein is utilized by every system in the body and carbohydrates is not. Okay, same with fats. Fats is not utilized by every type of system in the body. Okay, they could be reiterated to build or used as energy for a multitude of things to do things in the body. But the building blocks of life, the building blocks of structure is the proteins. So protein, and not only that, but there's a satiation difference of protein. Okay, and then not only that, but protein is also more metabolically, it builds more metabolically active tissue. Muscle, okay? And so somebody could weigh 150 muscle, and then somebody can weigh 150 with less muscle. This person will look leaner, this person will look bigger, but they're the same weight. So it's not just calories in, calories out. It's not that way. It's macronutrients, okay? And it's also based on muscle gain and fat loss. That's what it is. It's not, I want to lose weight. Weight means that you can lose muscle. Weight means that you can lose fat. Weight means that you can lose both. Okay? What you're looking for is muscle gain and fat loss. Okay? Now, the whole thing about this too is heavy duty training. It's about training intensely. It's not just about adding more volume. Just because you have 20 sets and you're going to go to 30 sets with the same weight, you're not going to grow because there's that plateau. There's that adaptation that's going on, that muscle adaptation that's going on. Okay? Now, when you start to work out intensely, where you start to live at that 80%, you continuously grow at that 80% range. You start to live in that Pareto principle of cultivating heavy-duty training. Study Mike Mincer or Dorian Yates, or study people who are really lifting heavy, okay? And then add volume. So I do reverse pyramid training, which I lift very heavy, and then I add volume once I'm weak. Once I've already trained the nervous system, I've already extremely taxed the nervous system with the heavy training, then I will go into the volume training, get the pump, stay in the pump for another 15, 20 minutes with the pump, and then go to my cardio. Then do my cardio. And then the lift is what? Anaerobic. And then the cardio is aerobic. Slow walking. Not on a huge incline going at 3.8. Okay? I'm not talking over 5.8. where you're like practically running, but you're still, it's not like that. That is a heavy cortisol aspect. You want to go pretty much very slow, and I just go flat, and I'm at like 2.5, and I'm still burning way more body fat than a lot of people who are going at 3.9 and at an incline. And the whole cultivation of this is not for me to flex or anything like that. It's from the thing of like realizing that it's to burn fat is to oxidize fat, to oxidate fat, to you need to become more efficient at burning body fat, which is adding oxygen to the fat cells. Adding oxygen to the fat cells. And not only that, you feel more satiated, you feel more fulfilled because there is hydrogen that is released. It's called H3. Okay, there's 3 hydrogen molecules that is released when you burn a gram of fat or fatty acids. Okay, and then you breathe oxygen, which is O2, not O, but O2. Okay, and then that actually creates H3O2, which is the most purified water based on your cellular DNA, based on your DNA. It's the purest water that your body, because you're making the water. Okay, so by doing, and then we've already proven this too, that going from anaerobic to anaerobic shuttles the fatty acids into the bloodstream, but that doesn't mean that they went anywhere yet. And aerobic actually oxidizes the fatty acids and uses them as energy when they are in the bloodstream. Let me say it again. Anaerobic training, sprinting, HIIT cardio, lifting weights, things that kind of put you out of breath at a high heart rate, that will shuttle and funnel fat into the bloodstream, fatty acids into the bloodstream, and release H2 or H3, okay? Now you add aerobic exercise, walking, okay? Walking slow, by the way, not releasing high amounts of cortisol, okay? In a fasted state, you are going to start to add oxygen to those fats that are funneled and shuttled into the bloodstream and oxidate them, and actually truly use them as energy. And then you will get leaner. Okay? So that is ultimately what I'm doing. So I'm cultivating this type of lifestyle, and I teach this for people, guys. I teach this for people. Okay? So heavy duty training, it's not calories in, calories out. It's not calories in, because that means that if you pull protein, so if you say it's calories in, calories out, I dare you to pull all of the protein out of your entire diet for 21 days, even 14 days, but 21 days, just to prove my point. And I want you to put just carbs and fats in that. You're just going to eat carbs and fats, no protein at all. You're just going to eat chips and carbs and all that type of stuff. Like, it's just calories in, calories out, just calories in, calories out. So it doesn't matter if you're just eating rice. Chips and rice are the same thing. Mashed potatoes and potatoes are the same thing if it's calories in, calories out, because it's not calories in, calories out. Okay? Because if you were to pull protein the whole entire bit and then do calories in, calories out, you would get fat. You would 100% get fat and you would lose muscle. But you're at the same calorie. You're still at 2,000 calories. You're still at 1,800 calories, okay? But the whole thing is you can actually burn body fat in a caloric surplus. Prove me wrong. You can actually burn body fat in a caloric surplus. You can gain muscle in a caloric deficit, okay? It's based on macronutrients. It's based on macronutrients, okay? And it's not calories in, calories out, because it's, okay, for, what is it, 1 gram of fat, it's 9 calories. For 1 gram of carbs, it's 4 calories. For 1 gram of protein, it's 4 calories. But there's a satiation rate that's 30% on that. There's a satiation rate that's 20% on carbs. There's a satiation rate that is very low. It's like 5% on fats. And for alcohol, it's a completely different thing. It's 7 grams, 7 calories per 1 gram. So it's different. It's different. Yeah, it might be calories, but it's not calories in, calories out. Okay, based on the macronutrients, it's differentiated. So when you start to focus on the proper macronutrients, then that's how you intercorrelate and intercultivate the way that you are training. And it's not just add volume. It's not just, oh, I'm just going to lift a little bit more. I'm just going to add the same. If it's just volume, and it's not intensity at all, and it's not extreme intensity at all, it's not lifting heavy at all, it's not going to failure at all, then you could just do the bar. You could just do the bar and add 30 sets, and you would just stay the same. Even though people would say that's based on what you're saying. based on what you're saying. No intensity at all. If it's just, add more volume, bro. Add more. And you can eat more and lose weight. I've been eating more, doing more cardio, and losing more body fat. Keeping the same muscle. Because of this reason. Because you understand and cultivate the metabolism. You comprehend what the metabolic tissue is. You understand its hormonal manipulation through the foods. You do black coffee when you're in a fasted state. You do some cardio and add some carnitine into there. It's going to be significantly different than if you just show up, you ate a bunch of carbs and then did some cardio and didn't have the black coffee, didn't have the carnitine. It's different. Different hormonal output and input. Okay? It's just a different communication within the body. Okay? Then if you eat multiple meals per day, each one of those is a metabolism spike. Specifically, if you are hitting the right macronutrients. I'm not saying just eat whatever the fuck you want for 8 meals. I'm saying if your macronutrients are within 8 meals, it's going to be a way different metabolically, active type of activity in the body. A different metabolic activity within the body. Okay, I'm not saying don't fast. I'm not saying fasting is proven. So let's say 16 hours and you eat, or even 14 hours. 14-hour fast, and then you start to eat every hour and a half. Significantly different, significantly differently cultivated, because the multiple meals will speed up the metabolism. The fasting, okay, this is just like the Wolverine diet, the Hugh Jackman diet. Okay, so ultimately, as you start to really see this, guys, that when you fast but also eat multiple meals, not just one meal, but when you eat multiple meals with the fasting, it's significantly different. When you do fasted cardio, when you add things that are for muscle building and when you add things that are for fat loss and you cultivate at the right hormonal aspect of when you're doing those types of training modalities, because you're building muscle and burning fat throughout the day. Okay, throughout the day. You do it when you rest. So this type of cultivation is this way. It's not just about supplements. It's not just about adding more volume. It's not just calories in, calories out. Okay, it's not, because there's people who can eat. Look, when you have more input, you also can cultivate more output, but that also will speed up your metabolism. But if you are metabolically damaging yourself or metabolically adapting yourself, it's metabolic adaptation. Okay, so if you're metabolically adapting yourself to consume less, then your body is going to store more. That's what you're implying. But if you continuously eat more, it will say, I don't need to store more. I can store less, which implies what? Body fat losing. There's a multitude of people who really comprehend what I'm saying. It's a 1% of the 1%, but I really don't mind. This is, training, the sacred secretion, fasting, carnivore, carb refeeds, carb backloading. This is all interconnected with heavy duty training from Mike Mentzer, Dorian Yates. Okay, adding volume after that type of thing. Okay, supplements using for fat loss, carnitine, black coffee, a cultivation of that. Okay, and then also hormonal manipulation through the foods, hormonal resistance training, so training for your hormones. Okay, testosterone or estrogen. Supplements I use for muscle gain. So you can implement creatine. You can implement precursors to testosterone. You can implement a multitude of things that are all cultivated for either HGH or a multitude of things. Okay, naturally. Hormonal manipulation through the foods naturally. That's how you do it. It's not calories in, calories out. It's not just add more volume. It's not this way. It's not just about supplements, bro. It's all of it. It's all of it, and it works in a cycle, and it works in a very easy cycle. And not enough people are going to explain it to you the way that I'm explaining it to you in a very quick video. And so here you go. You're welcome. It's not that difficult. It's just you have to know what to do, when to do it. Okay? There's specific types of carbs to use at specific types of times. You don't do carbs at specific times. You do carbs at another specific time. You eat proteins all throughout the day. You do your cardio. A multitude of things, guys. This is it, guys. Peace, much love, namaste. This is exactly what I'm going to be doing, and you guys will see the benefits. You'll be like, all right, I trust it. Peace.